When a real estate billionaire rewrites the United States tax code, you have to be paying attention. Trump just signed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act last year, and most people watched the news and thought it was just politics. But buried inside that legislation are the most aggressive wealth building cheat codes for real estate investors that we've seen in decades. I'm Dan Brisse, former professional snowboarder and X Games gold medalist. Today, our firm manages over $430 million in apartment buildings, and we use the tax code to legally shelter investors' income. And the rules of the game just got insanely tilted in investors' favor. Here is exactly what is inside Trump's new tax bill and how the top 5% are using it to build tax-free generational wealth right now. Bonus depreciation was scheduled to phase out, dropping to 40% in 2025 and heading to zero by 2027. And the new bill, the big beautiful bill, it completely reversed this. 100% bonus depreciation is now permanent, and it allows us to take 100% of losses in year one. If we buy a $500,000 property, we bring in an engineer for a cost segregation study. They'll come in and they'll do this report, and they're going to segregate things like flooring, the parking lots, appliances to short life categories, 5, 7, and 15 years. And we might identify 125,000 in short life assets. That right there allows us to take more depreciation in an accelerated format to give bigger losses on paper to our investors. So for people that are high income earners, I was in a position in my snowboarding career where I was making pretty good money as an athlete, but I had this large tax bill and I didn't understand what depreciation was. I didn't understand what cost segregation studies are. And really, it's a simple process. So the way this works is, as an investor, I would come in and I would invest my capital into an asset. And let's just say I put 50, 75, 100 grand into a deal. Now my capital is in there working for me. And a big part that I was looking for, and a lot of high income earners can add to their investment strategy, is depreciation. And what we did and what we do to pull that depreciation out is we'll hire a firm to come in and complete a cost segregation study. It's just a report that a professional firm creates that goes in, and they'll segregate different parts of the property, and they will put it on a schedule for depreciation. And simply put, that report goes to our CPA, and our CPA then uses that information to create a K1. And on that K1 will come out a phantom loss. It's not really a loss, it's a loss on paper. And that loss on paper can help offset what you will owe potentially in taxes for year one. Now, there's two different parts to this. Number one, if you're a real estate professional, you can use 100% of it upfront right now. And if you have enough passive income, it offsets it. If you don't qualify as a real estate professional, you can use it on the back end. It will always be there. It's like a war chest. It never goes away. So at some point in your life, when the deal exits, when your passive income increases, it will be there ready to offset those passive income gains or those exit gains to help eliminate or reduce your tax bill significantly. It's a superpower. This is the kind of stuff that the wealthy people are doing, the sophisticated investors are doing to accelerate their ability to build wealth. And with the new law, the big beautiful bill, that's the way the law is. We want to behave and use the law like it's designed to help accelerate our wealth. And that's what we're doing here in multifamily investing. That's what we're doing with cost segregation studies. If you're sitting there making good money, whether that's W-2, business income, whatever, and you feel like you should be further ahead than you are, it's probably not an income problem. It's a structure problem. I put together a free blueprint that breaks down exactly what I mean by that, and it covers the 3 tax buckets, why most real estate actually fails as a tax strategy, and the capital framework I personally use to evaluate where money should go as income grows, and it's completely free. Links down below. Before this bill, the estate tax exemption was set to drop back down to 7 million. Trump permanently locked it in at 15 million per person or 30 million per married couple. That's indexed for inflation. The original 2017 program was Supercharged. There were about 8,764 opportunity zones in the US, and over 3,300 were just classified as rural with massive enhanced benefits. So you got a 30% basis step up after 5 years and 100% tax-free appreciation after 10 years. That's what makes an opportunity zone an opportunity zone. You buy the asset, right? You force the appreciation, you shelter the income through depreciation, and you hold it in a supercharged opportunity zone, or OZ, and pass up the 30 million to your kids completely tax-free. This is exactly how legacy real estate families like the Trumps have built empires for decades. You defer the tax. You inflate the debt and you pass the asset down. So here in 2026, this extend and pretend era is over. We've got 1.8 trillion in commercial debt that's maturing right now. So multifamily maturities, they just jumped 56% to 162 billion this year alone. And then you've got this insurance piece. You combine the debt wave with these large insurance premiums that have doubled since 2021. And you've got operators who just simply didn't underwrite for insurance spikes, and they're getting wiped out and they're forced to sell. Now, we're looking at a deal right now that we just couldn't compete with back in 2021. We're looking at assets that have A+ locations that we're getting at a large discount because of this exact scenario I'm talking about right here. They're in a position where they had variable rate debt, the rates ran, payments ran, and now they're in a position where they're forced to sell. And when anyone's forced to sell, they're going to take whatever they can get. And so right now is this unique, opportune time to be buying in these A+ locations. You're buying at higher cap rates. Fannie and Freddie, they just got 176 billion in lending caps for 2026. And that capital is there for operators just like us, for folks who've survived the crash, who have a stable portfolio, and who are able to take these assets that are potentially in a little bit of a rough position because all of the capital needed to go to the debt. When you get a variable rate loan like this, these lenders will put you into a lockbox. And what that means is they're going to wipe all your income and they're going to take it. And they're essentially going to manage the deal. And so anything of income goes straight to the lender first, so they get their debt paid. And then they send you money back to pay your expenses. And obviously, when you're so much capital going to debt, there's not money left over for deferred maintenance. So for the operators that can come in at a majorly discounted price, put in fixed debt, 70% leverage, 65% leverage, and come in with a CapEx plan for rinse and repeat models, they can come in and move the needle and start to take these assets back to a safe place. And so that's the opportunity that we're sitting in front of right now. And it's one of the biggest opportunities we've seen in the last decade. If we're looking at 2026 as the new 2012, which 2012 was the most opportune time to buy real estate that we've seen potentially in our life. And if 2026 is in a similar state to that, the biggest mistake an investor with dry powder could make right now is to not get educated and not develop relationships with folks who deserve to invest that capital, who have the experience, who have the track record, who have the team in place. So if I'm a guy or a family office with capital on the sidelines right now, I'm extremely motivated to get with an operator and verify that they have the experience, the network, the team, the understanding in specific submarkets that I like to invest the capital alongside them. At the end of the day, anyone who's investing in real estate, it's a ton of work. It's really fun in the beginning, right? You go look at assets, you go build the submarket, get these broker relationships, and put a deal under contract. And the point from under contract to close lasts about 60 to 90 days, somewhere in there. And that part can be fun and exciting. But the real work of multifamily investing in large apartments is the day you close. It's the asset management piece. It's implementing the CapEx. It's taking care of the asset and being better than the competitors in that submarket. And that part is a skill. That part takes work. That part takes a firm, in my opinion, that is obsessively focused on it, committed to being a great operator. And a big separator that we've seen from 2022 to 2026 is the folks that were not efficient operators and are not efficient operators got wiped out. And so you're left with people now who actually understand how to drive NOI, how to implement a CapEx plan efficiently, and how to buy right. So it's a unique time for people that do have dry powder, dry capital. If you look at the data undefinedly says that we have a very, very good chance over the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years to see upward trend, upward pressure. New supply is falling off a cliff. We can see it. The new supply coming is very minimal compared to what we've experienced the last 3 or 4 years, right? And that's going to put pressure on rent. And when you're buying at a time when people are forced to sell from over leveraged deals, that puts you in the best opportunity to get these deals at the lowest price we've seen in a decade. The tax code was just rewritten by a real estate developer. Now this is 2012 all over again. The investors who step in right now, they lock in fixed rate debt and use this new tax code to shelter their income are going to build untouchable generational wealth.